From the industry through the community, right into your home. It's the Green Room, and we're on. What's going on, everybody? It's Les from Cannabis Wiki. I am here with the North American Cannabis Flower. That's right, that hot girl, that sweet girl, that fire, Jackie Childs.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
There's a heat wave happening right now, so that's probably got your
fire. That adds to the heat.
Hey guys, welcome to the Green Room.
Welcome to the Green Room.
Excited to chat with our guest today.
Yeah, we got a special one coming all the way from California.
I think that's where he is.
I think
somewhere hot.
Yeah. Well, our next guest is a cannabis expert on Cooking on High on Netflix. He is a comedian and a writer. Guys, please.
He's really funny.
Welcome.
He's funny with a borderline strange.
Ngaio Bealum. Sir, what's going on? Welcome to our Green Room.
Ngaio Bealum. And listen, what's wrong with being borderline strange? You guys live in Canada, so take off, eh?
Nothing is wrong with
Canada. Canada is a place to be right now, my friend.
Right? Or am I
COVID free?
COVID free, yeah. We're not COVID free.
Fair enough.
No, we're playing. We do have
Gotta
COVID here. Just on low. Healthcare is decent here. Used to be better, but it's still decent.
Okay.
So how are you?
Yeah. I'm working on my indecency. It's not too bad.
Good,
it's not too bad at all. Sacramento is relatively safe. I miss hugs and passing joints. When was the last time you handed someone a blunt?
What?
Church.
3 months ago? Yeah, 4 months.
You say in church.
Yeah, I say church as in preach, my friend. Preach.
Spread that. There's another
because I miss that
You're
too.
like, here you go, Padre. It's the Northern Lights. Listen.
Hey, believe me, sometimes when I have sat in church, he could use the spliff.
Spliff. Oh my God.
Listen, edibles and church go together like edibles in church.
How's COVID affecting you? Like you're an entertainer and on Netflix and busy doing things. Your comedy, how's that affecting you? You're home by yourself.
March and April and May and June. No, the end of June I actually had some gigs. So March, April, and May, I didn't have nary a comedy gig. And that is the longest I've gone without doing a show of some sort in 32 years.
Aww.
And so it was weird. And I'm trying to figure out a way to get good attention, right? Because that's why I got into comedy, is because I need the attention. And bad attention is not good, but good attention is good. And
right.
So we did a couple of the clubs in Sacramento reopened 2 weeks ago and then shut right down the week after because people in America are kind of silly sometimes and refuse to take shit seriously, and all of a sudden what should be a public health issue is a political issue and nobody knows how to act.
Right.
Do you wear a mask or no?
Oh yeah, all the time.
Okay.
I'm wearing one right now. You can't see it. It's invisible.
So all your family and friends, everybody's okay, or do you know anybody that's had COVID?
Knock on wood.
Some of my homies have actually come down with it, down in LA and in other parts of the country. I got a lot of friends on Twitter too, and I mean everybody's been affected.
In some way.
It's just rough. We thought my mom might have had it for a minute, but she doesn't. Thank God, it's just diarrhea. And I'm sure she wanted me to tell you guys that.
Well, you want to know
everybody to know.
I thought Lester had it for a minute, but turns out it's just diarrhea too. So we're good.
Hey, listen, that's better. That's better than the other thing.
Yeah, so they say for sure. So, how's the navigating been? You're saying the shows are hard. Not passing joints has been hard. Not hugging people has been hard. Has that affected you emotionally?
Not being a slut.
Mental
These are all
health.
challenges.
Tell me about it.
I would love to tell you about it in person. We could commiserate.
Woo! He's got like razors. We're dealing with a comedian here, so they come, they slice in.
Did you say they come? Now look,
Point that out, sir. Point that out.
I'm just
She said she likes a little strange. That's all.
talk about
All right.
sex and weed. Isn't that your? Don't you have aren't you an expert in
I have
sex
2
and
albums.
weed?
One is called Weed and Sex. Second one is called
Okay.
Weedier and Sexier. And then I'm working on my 3rd album right now, which will of course be Weediest and Sexiest.
Oh,
And then after that, I'll
So
probably
let's
be
talk
old,
about-
so it'll just be like,
Let's
just let
talk
me
about
look
the
at it.
first one. Let's talk about the first one. Where did that? Where did
The
the
first
idea
Weed
come
and
from?
Sex?
Yes.
They say, write what you know. So
Elaborate, man. Elaborate.
Well-
Don't leave us hanging. Elaborate. Give us some dirt.
right. What you know. Well, now's a good time to be writing some
listen.
more.
weed and sex go together like weed and sex. As a matter of fact, somebody just gave me this new, it's not even a new thing, but it's become a more specific thing where people are doing cannabis blends now, right? Where everybody's been very strain specific lately. Or okay, now we the hippie sort of thing where you ask somebody how to make a pie, they tell you how to grow a tree. All right, so back in the day, weed was just weed, right? They didn't really have a lot of names or strains or appellations. You were just lucky to get some shit from your guy in the 80s, right? What is it? It's weed. Sometimes it'd be like, oh, this is Panama, or oh, this is Acapulco. There weren't too many. And then as the 80s progress and whatnot, you get into the 90s and 2000s, then it's all, OG Kush and Bubba and Cookies and Trainwreck and all this stuff and everything. And everybody wants, they know certain strains give them certain effects, right? The Trainwreck makes me want to clean the house. The Romulan makes me want to sit around. Blah, 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 blah. And as we get into it, everybody knows it's really more than just strain names. It's the terpenes, right? It's the beta-carotene or the limonene or the pinene that give you the effects that you're looking for. People are doing now, and I'm trying to find, I know I have it in here somewhere. People are making blends, right? So they'll blend a couple of different weeds together. Not like crossbreeding, but like, I got a half a gram of this Trainwreck and a half a gram of this blueberry, and we're going to roll that in a joint and create the effect. So somebody actually gave me a new joint. I think the brand name is like Mingle or something, that is supposed to enhance the sexy times. Right? Because listen, one time years ago, I gave my friend, and I wish I could remember the name of the strain. I gave my friend some weed, and he called me up the next day, and he was like, "Hey man, what was that? Because I smoked it with my girlfriend, and she fucked the shit out of me, and I want to get some more of it."
I love how uncomfortable I'm getting. I want.
How are you getting? You asked me to talk about it.
No, you just keep going. I like it.
Go on, preach.
I'm pretending I'm
You
a
like
prude.
being
Preach, man. Preach.
That's good to know.
Preach. No.
I like being a little
We're
uncomfortable.
all good at the green room table.
But we're seeing that more and more here in California. So there's definitely more than like people are like, oh, this is cookies, or oh, this is wedding cake or whatever. There are more brands are coming out with like, this is awake, this is chill, this is calm the fuck down, or whatever they call it.
Right.
So the strains are the blends. You know how people like, you blend the wineries will blend some red wine with some other red wine, right? Maybe we have some kind of average Shiraz, and we have a kind of average whatever Merlot, but we're gonna put them together. Let's just red blend, and they work together. So I've seen that more out here, at least in California, where companies are blending weeds in joints and pouches. That's a new thing. It's not a new thing. It's been about a year.
That's you.
Where you can buy, bless you.
Thank you.
You should wear a mask. Where you can buy a.
Imagine if I had a sneeze with this. Disgusting.
It's very nice.
Okay.
It's too late now. The horses escaped. Where you can buy. Is that how Canadians talk? You guys talk in farm metaphor, right? It's all in Toronto. Big farming community in Toronto.
You are wicked, sir. You are wicked.
Eating all my rutabagas, eh?
Yeah, they are.
I guess that's really more like making fun of the newfies at this point. But the you guys, now I lost my whole train of thought.
You were talking about sex and weed and the blends.
So there's a couple of companies now that are making they'll sell you a big bag of shake, like a half ounce of shake, not very, and it still gets you high, right? It's still good weed, but it's just all the smalls and the crumbles. And you roll, if you like to roll doobies and blunts all day, that shit is perfect for you. Or if you like to mix it with a little hash, or if you're, one of those Euro trash people, you like to mix a little tobacco. And we all know tobacco increases THC absorption by up to 48%.
Do we know that?
That's
Did we know that?
thing. And so there's just a lot of new ways. Huh?
Did we know that? We do now.
You taught Jackie.
Do we know THC and nicotine?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's why blunts get you so high.
Oh. I don't smoke blunts.
Because
I don't like nicotine.
That's what the green room's for.
I don't like nicotine. It gives me a headache.
Even if it's a little bit of information.
Yeah, so there we learned something today.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, get back to your sexy talk. I'm getting sweaty.
Run it.
Keep your hands above the table.
Yes, sir.
Oh God. I was actually looking at your paper to make a fan.
So for the first book, how was the response?
It's not a book, it's a CD.
Okay.
It's a
so
comedy
for the first
album.
CD, how was the response?
The response was good. I self-produced it, and I really made it because I was broke. So I just found an old tape of some random show I had done and had my homeboy master it, so it sweetened it up a little bit. And just started selling it. But my second album is the one I'm happiest with, Weedier and Sexier. I produced that with 800 Pound Gorilla Records out of Nashville. And they did a really, really good job. Like we set it up, it's going to be an album taping. So we set up the whole thing at the Comedy Spot in Sacramento. We brought in the professionals, and Mike did everything really nice. I mean, my first album was really just me. I don't even think I used audio recorder. I think I taped it off my old flip camera. Remember those?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I think I just took the audio from my flip camera and had my boy master it up a little bit. So this one, the second album, Weedier and Sexier, was way more professional, and I actually paid attention and wrote down what I wanted to do and had some notes and shit, like an actual production, not just me rambling for half an hour.
Right.
And so it came out. I'm really, really happy with both of them. You can find them on the Spotify, the Apple Music, the Tidal, XM Radio, all those things.
Good.
How did you end up with the Cooking on High Netflix show? How did you end up on that?
Dumb luck. They called me up. It was actually just supposed to be a web series from Stage 13 Productions. They called and said, "Hey, we need a weed expert who's comfortable on camera to talk about weed." And I was like, "Oh yeah, I can do that. That's no problem." And so we shot that in 2016. I think, or 2015. We shot it a long time ago. We shot it a year before it got to Netflix.
Wow.
It wasn't even supposed to go to Netflix. I thought they had forgot about it. I didn't think it was going to be anything. I thought it was just on the shelf or in the cart, as they say.
Right.
And then one day they were like, "Hey, yeah, man, we're going to be on Netflix." And I was like, "That's awesome. Can I get a bonus?" And they were like, "No, we already paid you."
Can I have a piece of that?
But I did get a bonus in terms of I went from 4,300 Instagram followers to like 78,000 Instagram followers now, and a bunch more on Twitter and Facebook. And people call me up from like Cannabis Wiki and be like, "Hey, come on our podcast and our show and stuff." So
people call us from Wiki,
right?
Yeah,
exactly.
I liked it. I know he's
from the green room.
An interesting character.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, we're glad that you took the time to.
You're an interesting character. You're not. I bore very easily, and you're not boring. Like I could listen to you and watch.
Hardly ever boring.
Yeah, you're not boring. You're not very. You have a lot of interesting things to say. You have a lot of interesting quirks. You're entertaining.
Yes.
He's looking at himself.
Yes.
Yes.
He's a living.
You're an entertainer. Yes.
Yes. That's what I.
That's what I
do.
So Netflix that opened a bunch of doors. You got a bunch of followers. Everybody knows who you are now. So now you're doing your comedy specials, and you're one on July 20th. Extravaganza.
July 20th. So I'm working with nowherecomedyclub.com.
Nowherecomedyclub.com.
Run by Steve Hofstetter and his whole gang. Steve is one of my favorite people in the world because he puts the business in show business, man. And he makes it so easy for you to come out and just be yourself and tell jokes, which is all I really want to do. I just like to show up and tell jokes. And he's got the infrastructure all in place, and it's a really nice show. It's these online comedy shows can be a challenge because you don't always hear the crowd like you're used to. Right. And you can't always see people's faces, so it's really more like comedy methadone than actual like comedy opiate that you get from sitting on stage. Right. But listen, methadone's methadone. Mm-hmm. But these shows, they make it so easy to do. They're so much fun to watch, and for $10 to $15 US, you can sit right on your couch and smoke all the weed you want. No one's going to sweat you. There's no 2-drink minimum or 2-drink maximum or whatever. You can just be yourself and enjoy the shows. And it's fun because I get to call all my homies from around the country. It's not like, hey, man, I need you to come to Cincinnati, or I need you to be in Los Angeles for this, or we're doing a thing in San Francisco. And they're like, oh, fly me out, oh, this or that. It's like, no, man, just get on your goddamn computer at around 6 o'clock. And we're gonna do a show, and everybody's gonna have a good time, and it's gonna be hella fun. And
nice. Hey, listen,
so for this,
you're not conformed
up,
here. I was just gonna say you're not conformed here. If you want to smoke, you can light up.
I was looking for one actually. I mean, listen, it is 10 o'clock in the morning, and I don't.
It's 10 o'clock in the morning now. Oh, you don't smoke at 10 in the morning? You don't wake and bake?
You don't wake and bake?
Not that. It's the weirdest thing because definitely according to my social media, I stay high, right? Like if you stay high, you don't have to get high. But once I turned 50, which was 2 years ago, I became kind of a lightweight, which is the weirdest thing. And it was just like a switch went off shortly after my 50th birthday. I smoked my usual half a joint to the head in the morning. And then I was really, really stoned, like incredibly stoned. Like, oh my God, I'm so high. Why am I so high right now? And it just happened. So, but I suck it up for festivals and parties.
I suck it up. I do the best I can smoking weed.
Oh, but listen, I can't let these kids think that they can challenge me, man. I mean, it's not a competition, but I like to smoke weed. I'm here to smoke weed. We came to a weed festival to smoke weed. Right? Have you ever been to one of those weed festivals where they don't let you smoke weed? I've been to one. There was one in like Vegas.
And Expos.
That's how they are in Canada. You can't touch weed, smell weed, see weed, taste weed. Can't say weed because that's not the word we use. We say cannabis.
Right. It's straight.
Oh yeah.
It's kind of funny.
Yeah. It's weird. In a lot of ways, the new languages that the new idioms and words that we have started using have definitely made it easier to legalize, right? When we started the whole medical cannabis movement, it wasn't, hey man, come over, smoke weed to make you feel better. It's like, maybe you would like some medicine to help with your symptoms.
Exactly that.
And right? And it helped us when talking to legislators and people like that, right? We stopped saying weed. We started saying cannabis or marijuana, right? This is a medical cannabis dispensary, sir. This is not a weed shop. Right? People are coming here with serious problems, such as pretendinitis.
This is for people with serious
and also lots of serious problems. I mean, weed helps with a lot of different things, from muscle spasticity to Alzheimer's to cancer to achexia, all these different things.
Are you a medical patient?
I mean, that part was true. And also, people like to smoke weed. The late, great Dennis Perrone, who's maybe the grandfather of the medical cannabis movement in California, he was one of the guys who started the whole thing, who managed to get Proposition 215 on the ballot way back in 1996. He would tell you that all cannabis use is medical use.
Right.
Okay.
Are you a medical patient?
Even if you just smoke for funsies, you're smoking to feel better, which that's good medicine.
You ask.
True. Yeah. So Jackie was trying to ask, are you a medical patient?
Are you my doctor?
She can be.
Well, do you like to play doctor?
Okay, Chuck Woolery.
Woolery.
That's an old school reference. I'm taking them back.
Right?
Oh, that's so funny.
Chuck was a bad boy.
He's still alive, no?
He was.
He's back.
I definitely use it. But 2 plus 2. That's a portion. I definitely
Holy shit.
I do use cannabis medicinally. Definitely the creams and salves for the old aches and pains and the whatnot. And that's about it. My weed doctor thinks I should eat more weed.
Eat more weed?
I feel like it affects my productivity. Eat more weed. She's always on me, like, you should just eat more weed. It's better for the blah, 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 and the yada, yada, yada. I'm like, well, I just like to smoke.
You were going to say it affects your productivity. Like, you think it slows you down, or
edibles? Oh, yeah. Edibles change my whole day.
Yeah,
like, I can smoke weed and do whatever I want. And I can smoke hash and do most of whatever I want as long as there are snacks. Because hash gives me the munchies. Right. And I don't have to talk much. Like, that's the thing about dabs too, right? Like, I love the flavor of those pure terpenes and a good wax or a good shatter, but dabs make me quiet and a little telepathic. And that's the whole thing. So when I go to festivals and stuff and people are like, hey man, do a dab with me, I'm like, I can't, because they paid me to be and chatty.
Right.
And so if I smoke that dab, I'm just going to sit in the corner and watch the whole thing unfold.
That happened to me, and I was actually in big trouble. I signed to do something that they paid me a deposit. They paid me the second half once I arrived. And then I did a dab there's about 12 people around doing dabs, and I did one. And then I said, I'm going to go grab a drink of water. And I went and sat down, and I never got freaking back up. I never, it was bad. They were not happy. They were not happy.
No,
bad.
They paid me to be energetic and chatty.
Yeah, people sent me tagged me in all kinds of pictures afterwards that I was giving everyone like the peace signs, whatever, but I never left my chair.
Exactly.
Like, it's not good.
Couch mode.
Exactly.
All
right. Tell us what you got going on next and what you have. You have your comedy festival, your comedy virtual
extravaganza's coming.
Yeah. And then after that, what are you working on? You should be writing, and you should be working on
July 16th. I'm doing a thing with a bunch of my juggling and vaudeville homies. It's called The Renegade Show. I'll probably post a link on my Instagram. July 20th, we're doing the Comedy Extravaganza with Greg Proops, Christopher Titus, Jessica Wellington, Corey Showtime Robinson, and Becky Lynn. This is a great show. This is a monster show. And like I said, this is the beauty of it. I could just call all my super famous homies and be like, hey, man, come talk on this fucking internet thing for 15 minutes. And they're like, dude, I don't have shit to do anyway. I'm on my way. So these shows are fantastic, and they're monstrous. And we do it once a month on the 20th of every month, right? So you can have a little 420. This is the 720, 420 Comedy Extravaganza is the title. Last month was the 620, 420 Comedy Extravaganza. So you get the gist.
Right.
Next month will be the 820. 420 Comedy Extravaganza. We didn't do one on 710 this year because, like I said, dabs make me quiet, so I can't really do a comedy show.
710's today. No? Today's 710.
No, tomorrow.
Tomorrow. Oh.
Tomorrow. Or 2 days from now. Today's the 8th.
Oh, what?
Today's the 8th. Today's the 8th. Time has no meaning. How can days be so short and so long at the same time?
Are you in bed now, or are you laying down now, or what's the deal now?
No, I'm on my couch.
Oh, hi.
You're
on the couch.
Artwork.
He's allowed to lounge.
I think it's funny.
Yeah.
I can't tell.
I can go get it. Like, what do you have in mind?
Jackie's wondering if you're flirting or if you're just a nice guy.
I said, is he flirting?
I was going to ask her the same question.
I got tennis going on here. I'm gonna sit back. You guys go ahead. I'll be the official. Jackie, your serve.
I liked your post when you cut your own hair for the first time in your life. Your own haircut.
Did you like
that? You
that?
did a good job.
That was it's growing back now, finally. But
it's
generally,
now.
this is what happened. I was going to, I usually get my haircut maybe 2 or 3 times a year. And I get one in the spring, maybe in the summer, and then I slowly morph into Father Spliffmas as the winter comes around, right? Because it's going to be cold, so you need hair on your face. You need all the hair you can get. Then I get another haircut in the spring. But I didn't, because I had heard about a Black-owned barbershop in Berlin, right? And I was going to be in Berlin. I was like, oh, man, I'm going to let my hair grow out. I'm going to go to Berlin. I'm going to find this Black-owned barbershop. I'm going to sit around with international Black dudes, because the barbershop is a Black cultural thing, right? Mm-hmm. From way back. So I'm like, man, I'm going to get this international barbershop shit on. I'm going to have a great time. It's going to have a blah, 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 blah. And then I'm in Barcelona for 3 days, and the fucking president and the world is like, hey, everybody's got to go home because this shit is serious, right? And at first I was like, no, we can be Europe. We'll just wash your hands and don't hang out with Northern Italians. Whatever. But everybody had to come home. So I came home like 3 days after I got to Spain. I had to come right home. And so my hair was just out of control.
Cannabis?
And so I finally had to cut it.
Were you there for Cannabis?
Was I what? I was there. I was going to be there for Cannabis and the International Cannabis Business Conference, right? I'm the MC for the International Cannabis Business Conference series. We've done Berlin, Barcelona, Zurich. I say Barcelona because I'm a little pretentious. Berlin, Barcelona, Zurich. Where else? We've been Canada, right? We do all over the place. And so we're in Barcelona, and then I had like 3 weeks before I had to be in Berlin, man. So I was going to kick it. Right? I'm not going back to the States to come back. I'm just going to kick it in Europe for 2.5, 3 weeks and go visit some homies in Amsterdam, and maybe go to Portugal, or maybe go to fucking Los Canarios or whatever. Just whatever. I got 3 weeks. Maybe get some existentialism on. But
you had to go home. You got kicked out.
Listen.
They closed the world.
The world had other. I didn't get kicked out. I was asked to leave.
Check.
There's a difference. I'm not a stoner. I'm a cannabis enthusiast. Which is also bullshit, by the way.
Well said. Well said.
I would like to say for the record, all this shit with people trying to get away from pothead or stoner. I would like to remind people, it was the fucking potheads and stoners who got this shit legalized. Right? Well, you guys were all off making fun, or not you, YouTube specifically, but people were all off making fun and talking shit. All these damn stoners, blah, 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 blah. We're the fucking ones who got it done. Right?
Do you post that on
Twitter? Talk all the shit you want. What?
Do you carry these thoughts to the nasty Twitter world? Because I've seen some, you don't get all in there on Twitter. Yeah?
I speak
what was that little poem post you had? You had
I'm self-employed. I can do what I want.
I read you had 3 posts the other day, and they were all matched. Like, it started off with kindness and whatever, and then it ended up like you were kind of, what was that thread you did?
It's an old song from Steve Martin called Grandma's Song. If you ever listen to the Steve Martin Let's Get Small album, he does he sets it all up. Like, I'd like to sing the song. My grandmother used to sing it to me when I was a kid. It's got me through some hard times, right? And it definitely starts out, all that: be courteous, kind of forgiving, be gentle and peaceful each day, be honest and love all your neighbors, and have a good thing to say, right? And then it starts to get a little weirder every time. Be thoughtful and trustful and childlike, be witty and happy and wise, I can't remember, be obsequious, purple and clairvoyant, be pompous, obese, and eat cactus, live in a swamp and be 3-dimensional, put a live chicken in your underwear, get all excited and go to a yawning festival. But so
I liked it, and then I was like, what the fuck
Steve
did
Martin
I just
song. That's how he gets you. That's how he gets you.
If they didn't know,
Steve Martin is one of my favorite stand-up comedians. If you talk about influences in my stand-up comedy, he's in my top 5 influences, mostly because he reminds me that absurdity is hilarious.
A wild and crazy guy.
He's nuts.
Right.
He's nuts.
Right. Yes. So you can just be as absurd as you want sometimes. Huh?
He's a great musician. He's a great musician, though. I've watched a lot of his little
excellent banjo player.
Banjo.
Yeah.
So who are your top 5 comedians?
I can name 4 of them because one of them is dead to me. Richard Pryor, Bob Newhart, Steve Martin, and Robin Williams.
Bob Newhart.
Those are the 4 that were like the biggest influences on my presentation, and the Grateful Dead. So those would be the 5 things, and Fishbone. So those would be like the 6 things that really influence how. Oh, and Robert the Butterfly Man Nelson, may he rest in peace, one of the coolest street performers of all time. 7 things. Those are the 7 things that really influenced my presence on stage and my approach to putting on a show. Oh, and I marched drum corps for 3 years, and so drum corps is also.
So what about the new comedians? The new comedians don't impress you? Newer age, because you.
Oh no, I didn't say that. I was just talking about the comedians that influenced me growing up, right?
Okay.
They say don't. Some of these young kids, I like Kate Willett a lot. I like Caitlin Gill a lot. I like Maggie May a lot. I like my boy Stroy Moyd, StroyMoyd.com, STROYMOYD, Stroy Moyd. I think he's really funny. Chris Riggins is hilarious. Dan Gabriel is good. A lot. There's so many now. I thought there were a lot of comics when I started. There are fucking a lot of comics right now, and a lot of them are really, really good writers.
Okay.
Good writers.
But there's a difference. There's a difference, and I think a lot of you definitely have to write. The longest time, I never really thought of myself as a writer, right? Because I don't really write my jokes down. I have kind of a phobia about it because oral tradition, and so when you write something down, you're gonna write it differently than when you say it.
Right.
Right. That's just how it is. Because I mean, I definitely write. Like I ran a magazine. I write for a bunch of different publications and things. But written humor is different than spoken humor, right? Because the tone is different. They can't see the gleam in your eye or tell by the tone of your voice sometimes. So when you write something down, you can still be dry and sardonic and all the devices, but the approach and the craft of that is completely different than the craft of telling a joke.
Right. So you're talking about delivery, right?
it.
Like the delivery of it.
Yeah,
whereas
delivery
some people,
and presentation. So a lot of times I see some of these younger kids. That's my biggest advice to some of the newer kids, because they definitely, these guys all get together, they fucking write, they write, and then they get on stage and it sounds like a recital, right? You shouldn't just be reading the joke in your head. You should be talking to the audience as a performer, right? And so I think, and it's rough too, because comedy is one of the few gigs that you have to learn on the job. Like you can take some classes, you can do some things, but really it's standing in front of people and doing it. I was fortunate early in my career where I got the opportunity to do a lot of time in very small towns and really shitty bars all over the Pacific Northwest. And you come back from 2 weeks of that, and then you like all of a sudden got a whole new idea of how to perform and how to hold on to a crowd and how to be quirky and non-boring.
Quirky.
What's your best stage highlight?
I wanted to find out when he was booed. When were you booed
We'll
off?
get to that one. We'll get to that. We got to build him up first before we knock him down.
I've never been booed off a stage.
No?
Although I did have a really bad set in West Palm Beach, Florida one time. I was just super nervous for whatever reason. I got all the flop sweats and got heckled a couple times. But I didn't get booed off. Like I did my fucking time like a man. And then I left the stage.
Threw himself out. He didn't get asked to leave.
Holy shit.
Booed off a stage. Have you lost your mind? I'm likable as fuck. Even if they're not liking the jokes, they like me. You understand?
Oh man.
They have to like. Please tell me they like me.
When was your best time? When was your best experience? When did they love you? And
the
you
last
just
time
couldn't
I
get
did it,
enough?
like how bad can it be? You're just telling jokes. It's almost always fun. Right? And that's some of the challenge too. Like some of my favorite shows that I've ever had were shows where other comics be like, oh man, that crowd is always rowdy, or that bar always gives me a hard time, blah, 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 blah. And then that's the challenge, is to find a way to create, it's not really creating order out of chaos, but it's creating an energy. It's creating a vibe, creating a focus, being the lens for the energy. I know it sounds weird, but that's what I strive to create on stage. So sometimes if you get a rowdy crowd and you can be entertaining and loud and funny and enjoyable enough that everybody stops. Like, I used to be a street performer, right? And that's like the hardest part of street performing. Putting the show on, that's the fucking easy part. Getting people to stop and take time out of their day and pay attention to what you're doing is the hardest part of any show, right? So when you're doing a show at a club or at a bar, you've already won half the battle. They've already decided that they're going to be in that spot. So all you got to do is smash that shit, right? You don't have to, I don't know. You guys,
how did you become a street performer?
You got me all rambly and shit. We're supposed to be talking about.
Did you?
No.
Did you just wake up one morning and say, I'm going to be a street performer? Like, you got like a shoebox and out to the street you went? Or
I was,
like,
okay, so in, I guess it was 1987 or so. I was working at a t-shirt shop. I was going to college, working at a t-shirt shop at Pier 39 in San Francisco, California, right? Making just over minimum wage. And there were a bunch of street performers. They had like a street performer stage set up at Pier 39. And so I will watch these guys juggle and do mime and all this stuff to giant crowds and making bank in cash money immediately, right? You don't have to wait 2 weeks for a check. They put cash in your fucking hat. And I was like, I can do that. I'm a theater major anyway. I like large crowds. I like to entertain people. I like to be the center of attention if it's healthy. And so my homeboy had a roommate who used to be a juggler, and so I begged, borrowed, and stole all his juggling gear and started hanging out with jugglers and started going to juggling jams and practicing. And then in 1988, I auditioned, and I had a horrible audition, but Robert Nelson put in a good word for me because he thought I had potential. And I got the gig. Like junior street performer on the side stage or whatever. And then, it just went from there. For me, as jugglers go, I'm an excellent stand-up comedian. Like, I can juggle okay, and people who don't juggle are like, man, that guy's a pretty good juggler. But really, it's just an excuse for you to have something to look at while I get these jokes off.
So they play hand in hand. That's how it went, hand in hand. So what was your best and worst street performance?
One time, I went to lift the lady's arms over her head, like, "Hey, take a bow" or whatever, and her shirt flew up. So I also I used to do a thing where I would throw the juggling clubs into the crowd, right? Like, "Hey, catch this, you catch this, you catch this," and then I have them throw them back to me, and then I would start juggling. But one time I threw one at a guy, and it hit him right in the chest, and he didn't move. I was like, "Dude, you didn't catch it." He's like, "Bro, I'm blind." So I thought he was looking right at me. He wasn't wearing the glasses. He didn't have a dog or a cane or nothing.
Dude, you didn't catch this. Dude, I'm blind.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
Oh,
Turn
man.
it into a joke.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Oh my goodness. Oh wow. So talking to you and just like I'm picturing your life. Sorry,
Good luck. I got $1,000 in my 401k.
Oh shit.
Wow. Oh. He's laughing. Okay, the world is in a strange place. We're in uncertain times, but I can only see you like being like blowing up. Like you're just like, you're really funny. You have intense ideas and thoughts and the way you talk and the way you are. And I've watched your shows. I've listened to your sex stuff. And I read your tweets and I follow you on Instagram. Like are you the next big thing? Like, don't you feel it? Like you're a minute away?
Hell yes.
Like,
why not? From your lips to God's ears and to the producers in Hollywood. I don't know. I'm not as I mean, I'm still ambitious, but I'm not as like, oh, I got to get famous. I got to do this. I got to do that. One of these challenges, listen, I've been a cannabis activist for more than 20 years, almost 30 years by now. So when I first started doing lots of jokes about weed, and not like my whole set isn't about weed or sex, right? There's some existential poetry. There's some fucking quantum physics. There's just some straight up comic book nerdetry going on. But weed jokes are like anchovies, right? You put a lot of them. You just put a couple, it flavors the whole thing. But the point is, when I first started, when I was in, early career, mid career, all I would get was like, oh, all he does is talk about weed. We don't need any fucking weed guys, blah, 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 blah. And now that weed is legal, they're like, we need some weed guys. He's a little old. We need a younger weed guy.
Sugar.
Oh, no, I don't think, Steve. What the fuck? I don't like that.
I'm Father Split Miss. I'm Uncle Weed Guy. I mean, I'm not too old for you, Jackie. But
you're not too old for me because we're the same, very close to the same age. Very close.
Right? Sure.
Right.
You're what?
And
27?
I hate when they want young weed girls. They want the little dreadlock bimbos.
Well, listen, there's nothing wrong with a dreadlock bimbo. Don't get it twisted.
Woo! No, there's nothing wrong, but there's room for an old lady.
Right? I mean, you're sitting next to one. No, I'm kidding.
Wow.
Hey, we're not allowed to talk about Lester's age.
Why not?
We're not allowed. It's in the contract.
That would be
we don't mention
a dreadlock himbo.
Himbo.
I said that would make him a dreadlock himbo.
Yeah, he's a himbo, all right. You should see his DMs.
You love me.
Oh, God. Yes.
I love you right back.
You love me, all right. I love you, I mean, whatever. You okay.
Yes.
Well,
okay.
Keep it focused.
I'm having a hard time focusing because he made me laugh. I got all sweaty, and then we started talking about sex and age and hash and everything, and I forgot that I was at Cannabis Wiki right now.
It happens like that.
Good summary of the whole conversation.
There you go. We had sex and weed. My hands were under the table. They're back on top. And it was really nice meeting you.
It was a pleasure.
So tell
everyone to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, NGAIO420. Also go to nowherecomedyclub.com for the latest on the 420 comedy extravaganza.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Well,
anything else you want to plug, my friend? Is that it?
That's it.
Is it?
What else you want to plug, you pervert?
Right.
It's like that's why he's laughing.
I know why he's laughing.
Now we're on the same telekinetic.
I'll send you a list.
Give him the opportunity.
I'm sure you will. Right into my DMs.
Well, Ngaio, thank you very
also
much.
find me on OnlyFans. I'm gonna start posting my feed on OnlyFans, so be ready.
Okay.
Oh my God, me too.
Well, hey, yo, it was great. It was great chopping it up with you, my friend. You are
always a pleasure.
Quite the comedian.
Thank you. I'm blushing, but I'm a
you.
huge fan. I really enjoyed that. It was nice to have someone I think is super cute.
Thank you so very much.
Yeah, it was refreshing.
I had a great time.
Thank you.
Good.
All right, take care.
All right, well, you take it easy.
Well, that was
Take
fun.
care. We'll see you guys later.
All right. Yeah, that was good. What are you smoking on? What do you got there?
It's how do you say it? Figure? It's legal weed. We love legal weed. Yes.
I like that.
From the OCS. Some a high THC wedding cake. I would puff it, and pass it, but I'm not.
We're not allowed to do that anymore.
Ever again, do you think?
We'll see. We'll see.
What if I just go? And you just breathe.
Oh
no, because then you're breathing COVID.
That's right.
Not that I have COVID. But
no.
Anyhow.
Yeah, that was good.
Will you put this on for our saying goodbye to everyone?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Stay safe and wash your hands. Mind your own business. Stay hydrated. Watch the green room.
I don't know, guys. You got to get your own N95s.
Check out Chef Jordan Wagman's green. He's funny.
Chef.
Eating green. What the hell is this? He's awesome.
I like it. I like the jiggle for sure. Well, our guest was good. He was quite funny.
Very.
So, guys, thank you very much, everybody out there doing your part, helping to flatten the curve of this coronavirus that is still present.
Stay home and watch all of Cannabis Wiki's videos, and we have an app, and there's lots.
Definitely go to your app store, look for Wellness Wiki. Download it.
Weed Talks.
You can see all the things that are going on inside of Cannabis Wiki. So, where Cannabis Talk is always fresh.
And a little bit sticky. Extra sticky since it's 40 freaking degrees and I'm menopause, for Christ's sakes. Cannabis Talk is always fresh and a little bit
sticky.
I like when he does the sticky part.
Yeah, I'm good with it.
Keep it locked on Cannabis Wiki. Bye, guys.
Peace out, everybody. We'll see you soon.